Welcome back to Pop Culture Explosion, episode 14. This is Michael Maddock and Paul O'Connor reporting to you.
Here at Pop Culture Explosion, we do all the research, we do all the news, we make the turkey and all the fixings, and we have you eat it. Mike, what are we talking about today?
Today, we are going to talk about
X-Men
Apocalypse.
That movie was kind of apocalyptic.
Yeah,
that's like the only pun I plan on doing for this entire episode, by the way. I give you my word on that one. So
okay, so overall, great movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought the characters were great. Overall thoughts?
This was actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I was pretty harsh on it when I first saw it with you, if I'm not mistaken. So overall, 2 thumbs up. Enjoyed the movie. But
go see it if you haven't seen it already. And just by the way, this is going to be spoiler to the wind.
Oh, yeah, spoiler, guys.
Alert.
It's been a week and a half, 2 weeks since the movie came out, so if you haven't seen it yet, you're probably not going to see it. But you really should.
Lazy.
Or you're just being lazy.
Lazy fan.
So, what was your favorite character part in this movie?
Well, my favorite character was Psylocke, of course, Olivia Munn.
Why?
Big fan of hers from the Attack of the Show days. I'll put a link below. She was my favorite character in there.
Because you have a crush on her, right?
No.
Sure.
No.
Whatever. That's fine.
No.
I think my favorite part of it was they added just enough humor to complement the action. There were some scenes in that movie. My favorite character? Well, I'm a huge Jean Grey Phoenix guy. But, I mean, in the comics, Phoenix is my favorite character in all of Marvel universe. But I think my favorite character was Quicksilver. And
really? Yeah.
He added just enough humor, and he had 2 key scenes in this movie, which really he took the stage. And I thought the actor did a great job, and I thought the character was just a lot of fun.
Well, and I think that this movie... I think the characters were so much fun. All of the, I don't know. That was what I noticed. It was a little thin with the plot, but you had these big, larger-than-life characters. And
I liked the relationship between Jean Grey and Scott Summers, especially when they first met.
Like an origin type.
Yeah, I mean, there was that, oh, she's kind of a bitch, oh, he's kind of a jerk, and then watching the 2 characters kind of get to know each other.
They start to notice one another.
Right, and watching that relationship develop, I really liked. And then this was a different Scott Summers. I haven't seen this version of Scott Summers before. I saw I got coal stuck up my ass Scott Summers in the first 3 X-Men movies. But
was that Star Wars?
No, he was not in Star Wars.
Scott Summers.
Guys, I have a problem.
Driving the X-Wing.
My mouth sometimes goes faster than my brain. But I did like that cocky, arrogant kid in this movie, and I'm looking forward to how they're going to take this character and turn him into a leader role for X-Men, if they're going to follow the source with the comics.
Yeah. Well, I thought the movie had great action, but you kind of mentioned it got a little muddled.
My favorite action scene was at the very beginning, where they were trying to kill Apocalypse, and you saw the different horsemen trying to protect him. I thought that was really cool. I thought the ending was all over the board. Really it was lacking organization. It was kind of distracting, I thought.
Well, I'll definitely own this one on Blu-ray when it comes out, for sure. Again, a great movie. I think that Fox is doing a good enough job with Deadpool and the X-Men that I wouldn't necessarily put it in the give it back to Marvel camp. I do hear Bryan Singer is desperate to do something else, so we don't know if he's going to leave, or I'm not sure where we're standing with that. Maybe he just needs a break, doing all these X-Men films. And
I was thinking about this very thing. When you look at what Marvel's doing with Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers, I mean, those are such epic and well done movies that our expectation with those films are already so high that no one else can meet them. I think one of the reasons why the X-Men, in my humble opinion, they've been passable franchise, because we're like, this is all we're getting. This is the best that we're getting. So when we see like Days of Future Past, where they've exceeded the expectations, and the expectations were kind of low in the first place, I think they make them appear to be a better movie. But I think if we watch these movies a few years from now, we're going to look at going, they're okay. I think Bryan Singer needs a break, in my humble opinion. I think we need some fresh directing blood. We need to keep the actors that we have, especially for this one, but we need a new director. I think a new writer as well.
So do you think this movie kind of suffers from the, well, I don't really think it is, but being the third in a trilogy? I think it was probably the best one. I know you have a different opinion.
No, I
thought it was the best
I
one.
think Days of Future Past was the best movie, and it's looking at even at Star Wars. The Empire Strikes Back was the best movie, and Return of the Jedi always gets a bad rap because the second was so good. I think the same thing is going to happen with this one. There are a lot of people that are critical on the performance of Apocalypse. I thought the actor did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
But he just wasn't big enough. I think that people are going to look back and go, Days of Future Past, which is by far my favorite movie of the 6, that's going to always overshadow Apocalypse.
Yeah, I just think the opposite. I really like this movie the best, I think, so far. But, you look at a movie once and time goes by, and you kind of forget, your opinion changes of it. So. Oh,
well, again, my opinion changed within 3 days of watching the movie.
Yeah. Now, I would have to say some favorite sequences are definitely when they're recruiting Archangel with the Metallica. Big Metallica fan from the '80s. So when I saw heard the Four Horsemen playing and he's all drinking and stuff, I thought, wow, this scene was just made for me. That one, and then a very amusing Quicksilver scene with Sweet Dreams playing. Very humorous. Mm-hmm. Comes into the frame and he's like, okay, I got this.
The scene that really still hit me hard was the forest. You got Eric Lencher, right?
Yep.
Magneto, he pretty much went underground for 10 years, and it got slipped out that he's actually Magneto, and it cost him the lives of his daughter and wife.
And you kind of see, when you see that they introduce him and now he's got the wife and they go see the daughter, I'm like, oh, they're dead. There's no way.
Oh, there's no way.
We know that.
Well, the thing is, though, I had a spoiler that something bad was going to happen to his family, so I kind of walked into that. The one thing, though, that I've always understood the relationship between Charles and Eric. They had that frenemy thing going on really well. They didn't really touch base on this, but how many people do you think Magneto killed in that movie?
In that movie?
How many people? Destroying buildings.
You got to do a kill count episode.
I'm thinking he probably killed hundreds of thousands of people. Tens of thousands. Just go that road. Tens of thousands. And the fact that Charles had him at the school and still called him old friend.
Yeah.
If you killed a couple, 10, 20,000 people, Mike, I don't think I can call you an old friend anymore. I might be calling the cops. That I had a problem with. That kind of...
Well, and a movie's just clean the surface, so it doesn't get that deep with it. But yeah,
he killed a lot of people, and so that relationship, I would have. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's close to redemption on that one.
So I do love the '80s theme, child of the '80s. So I really like that. I don't know that '80s was necessarily in your face in the movie. You kind of see it once.
There was a couple mullets in there. I could have sworn.
So you kind of come back to it a little bit. I do love the inclusion of the Weapon X. I like that.
That was, he looked like what he did in the comic book. With the headgear stuffing into his body.
Did a great job.
That was pretty cool.
It does border on it does teeter on, did we really need that in the movie kind of thing? But it was it had nothing to do with the plot.
That scene was there only...
Fan service?
Yeah, only to service the fans.
And we loved it.
No, we did. It was pretty cool, but you could have done that. You could have done without the whole Stryker, Wolverine, going to Canada scene. It was not necessary. It did not advance the plot at all. But it's
so cool.
But it gave us blood. That was probably the most blood I've seen in an X-Men movie.
Yeah. Still not enough to for Wolverine.
Well, no, we'll get blood in the next Wolverine movie, that's for sure.
So I think overall great incarnation of the team. Let's talk about, we'll close with some weak spots. I think that it was a little thin on the plot. But again, we got great characters and action, and I'm happy with that. It's a comic book movie onto the, or comic books thrown onto the big screen. So I can forgive that. Having Mystique.
And see, that's where I disagree with you on, sir. Just because it's a comic book movie should not lower your expectation. I mean, look at what Marvel's doing. You would not accept a lowered expectation for that.
So it was thin on the plot,
yes,
but forgivable, because there are other movies that get complicated with plot and everything. So I don't know. I'm okay with it not being.
Oh no, the plot was fine with me too, and I agree with you. I just have an issue with the expectation piece.
Yeah. My expectations for this movie were low. I didn't really want to see it. I wasn't like, oh, I got to go see the X-Men. I had to force myself almost to see it, and I'm glad I did. Still thin on the plot.
The one thing that annoyed me is, first of all, I'm not a Jennifer Lawrence fan. I'm not saying she's a bad actress. I'm not saying that at all. She's a much more talented actor than I am, because she's making money and I'm not. But but why do we have Mystique as the leader of the X-Men? At one point of reality in any of the comic books, did she get nominated to be the leader of the X-Men? I would have loved to have seen Scott Summers taking that speech at the end, because Scott Summers went toe-to-toe with Apocalypse. I mean, he was there in the thick of it, and if anything's going to mature someone like that, it's that moment. And I would have preferred to see Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, close that scene in the Danger Room versus Mystique, and just watch Mystique going, guys, it was awesome, it was a lot of fun, I'll see you back here in 10 years. That's what I would have preferred.
And I think the couple other things maybe worth mentioning is that I would have liked to see more of them do something more with Jubilee, and where the heck is Rogue?
Well, the real Rogue hasn't shown up in any of the movies.
Yeah, I don't know why that character keeps getting the short end of the stick.
And Rogue, of all the X-Men, she is probably, her and Phoenix are my two favorite characters. I love Rogue, love the accent, love her powers, love the fact that she's a Southern belle that can really kick some ass as Rogue.
So, final thoughts on the X-Men Apocalypse?
I'm going to buy the DVD. I enjoyed it. I don't think I'm going to see it a third time in the theater. I liked it. I hope that they make some changes for the next movie that's going to be based in the 90s. But I liked it. It was a fun, entertaining movie.
Yep, fun and entertaining. Highly recommended. Go see it if you haven't.
Well, thank you very much. This was our episode on our X-Men Apocalypse review. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. We will be having some links in our description below. And if there's something that you agreed with or disagreed with, put it in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts.
Continue the discussion.
If you like Mike's haircut, let him know. So, with that being said, peace out.